Welcome everyone. My name is Alberto Huerta. We'll get started a little bit after noon. So give it about 2 more minutes. Thank you all for joining us.
Hi, Maureen.
Your biggest fan, Dan.
Thank you. No, I'm nervous. I got one of my bosses watching me.
Uh-oh. We give it another minute or two until we get started. All right, it is 12:02, so I think we can go ahead and get this party started. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to United Way Racine County's Impact Tour. I'm Alberto Huerta, Senior Director of Investor Relations at United Way of Racine County. I have the pleasure of being here with all of you today as we launch our first tour of our year-long series designed to show impact of our collective efforts and work here in Racine County. Thanks to donors like yourselves, volunteers, partner agencies, and other community partners. Today, we will be speaking and hearing from Dan Telbakowski, the Executive Director of Racine County Food Bank. Good afternoon, Dan.
Good afternoon, welcome, and thanks for having me.
Most definitely, thank you. This is a new venture for us, so you were the first one to jump on board, and we really appreciate that. So I just kind of want to cover a few things related to the purpose and the outline of today's presentation and kind of, moving forward. So, today we hope that all of you that are joining us from your home or your workplace, on your lunch break, wherever it may be, right, that you leave today with a better understanding and see firsthand the impact in the day-to-day work of United Way and funded partner programming and agencies, and how organizations like the Racine County Food Bank live united by fighting for the healthy education and the financial stability of all people here in Racine County, really with a focus on, essential services and food security. I'd like to share a few more things before we get started. So this 30-minute lunch and learn will be recorded and later shared on our website for your viewing pleasure, or to share with other, individuals within your network that weren't able to join us today. We encourage questions, so please feel free to add any of your questions in the chat box. I have a colleague, Julie Anderson, who will be keeping track of all of those questions, and we will present them at the end of the presentation and the tour. But also feel free to unmute yourself when we get to the Q&A portion. Otherwise, I do ask that all of you keep yourself muted throughout the presentation. just so we don't, have any feedback or any of those technical issues that, right, we all are aware of after this last year and a half. So without further ado, we will jump right into the question part where I will go ahead and ask Dan some questions, and he will provide us with some answers and a better understanding of, again, what the food bank does and how they really support the Racine community. So with that, Dan, if you wouldn't mind sharing, what is the mission of the Racine County Food Bank?
Well, the purpose of the Racine County Food Bank is to efficiently and effectively obtain resources and facilitate the distribution of food and other necessities through a network of direct service providers, i.e. pantries, shelters, meal programs, to individuals and families of Racine County who are in need. In so doing, we equalize the distribution of resources throughout the community and advocate on behalf of the community to reduce hunger. That said, when I explain that to fifth graders when they come here for field trips, I tell them our job is to try and collect all of the cookies that we can and make sure everybody gets one before anybody gets two.
Good explanation. Quick question, how long have you been a United Way of Racine County partner?
So I have been personally a supporter of United Way since I used to work for Burlington Wholesale Foods out in Burlington. Ironically, the location of where Love Incorporated is now one of our affiliate pantries. But I started that job in 1984. I came on here at the food bank in 2004, and we've been running a campaign ever since that point in time. But Racine County Food Bank support of United Way predates my time here to my predecessor and his as well, I believe. So I don't have the exact date, but I would venture a guess that probably since its inception, we have been supportive because we have been relying on United Way for help and support since its inception.
Sure. Yeah. I want to really highlight, the partnership here, right? It's a mutual benefit. The fact that, not only are we here to, support the food bank, through the RFP process and providing funds so that you can continue the work, but you also in return, run a campaign and support the campaign yearly. So we do really appreciate that. Another quick question. Can you maybe share a little bit what's the benefit of partnering with United Way, or how does that really help your efforts here at the Racine County Food Bank?
Sure. Well, the obvious benefit is the monetary support. I mean, it helps us to fund our overhead costs and the cost of purchasing food. But I think the other benefit for us and the community is we're striving to and I know everybody says this, but we're trying to put ourselves out of business, right? And unless we get at those root causes of hunger, which is education, and United Way has their new focuses on education. Those are the building blocks and foundation that we need to build stronger in our community to eliminate the need for folks to have to access services from one of our direct service providers. So we work with United Way to help them while they help us, so we can hopefully put ourselves out of business is the goal.
Yeah, that's an interesting way of explaining it, right? But yeah, definitely want to help as many people as we can and make sure that they have the resources in order to, again, have that food security. Another question, when donors donate to United Way of Racine County's annual campaign, approximately how many residents, I guess, through those funds that you receive, are you serving here in Racine County?
Well, I mean, I can share some service numbers with you. We typically distribute over 1 million pounds of food. COVID kind of threw a wrench in a lot of our stats this year because we developed a new way of distribution and haven't been able to collect demographic data and some of those stats as good as we would like to. But we distributed over 1 million pounds of food. The total number of meals provided in the community typically runs in the 800,000 range. Last fiscal year was a little north of 700,000. This fiscal year through the end of May, we're running at about a little over 600,000. So that has declined, but it's declined because there's been so many resources available to the food insecure because of COVID. It's reduced the need in our community. So, for example, expanded food share benefits, the stimulus checks that went to folks. There's pandemic EBT for all folks that were on free and reduced lunch programs. Unified has expanded its summer meal program greatly to allow more access to those things. So all of those things have helped kind of keep our numbers down a little bit. And then because of COVID, a lot of our meal sites, the congregate meal sites where folks get together and eat, obviously we couldn't do that. So the hospitality center downtown morphed into a curbside bag lunch or carry out type situation. Our pantries all converted to drive-through. So while our numbers are down, the need did not go down. The need actually went up, but there was just a lot of resources brought to bear. Locally, Kingdom Builders did some massive drive-through distributions a couple times a week with the Farm to Families program. So a lot of different things going on.
Sure. You know, I know a lot of this is unknown, but do you see that continuing in the future? Is it sustainable as far as, you know, some of the programs and government assistance, or are you thinking that the need for the food bank will go up again?
I'm thinking the need is going to spike as the government shuts the faucet off on some of these. So Farm to Families ended the end of May. We're not certain how long the bump in food share benefits is going to continue. You know, summer meals, once that's over and hopefully kids are back in school on a regular schedule again in the fall. You know, the extra federal unemployment benefits are due to sunset. Some states have already done away with them. So there's a lot of different programs. The local TFAP program that's administered by the Community Action Agency got lots more food and resources to distribute. So there hasn't been any shortage of food. While our numbers went down, we've been kind of stockpiling in anticipation that we're going to see a spike once these government resources dwindle and go away. And you know, we haven't been giving away our typical 3 to 5 day emergency supply. We've been giving everybody everything that they need because there's so many that are unemployed. Sorry, forgot to silence my phone.
That's quite all right. Okay, so the next two questions, I think you partly answered them, and I know in the tour piece, you're going to explain a little bit what's the difference between a food pantry and the food bank, right? So I'm going to skip the next two questions and kind of jump into the last two. What is the best way for anyone in Racine County to help support the Racine County Food Bank in the coming months? So we kind of talked about, right, those government programs, you know, sunsetting themselves and, you know, going away. So how can individuals help the food bank?
Sure. Well, one of the ways is to support United Way, right, and get at some of those root causes. But the direct effect for us, since we saw a lot of the food drives go away during the pandemic, some of those are starting to come back now. So we had a very small version of the Boy Scouts Scouting for Food drive this last weekend. Maybe 10% of what we'd normally expect to get through that drive. The letter carriers drive, our largest drive of the year, didn't happen. So we maintain collection barrels in all of the grocery stores east of I-94. So any Pick and Save or Piggly Wiggly east of I-94 has one of our barrels in it. Those types of food donations are helpful because it lowers the dollars that we need to spend on purchased product, the more donated product we get in. And monetary gifts are always welcome, obviously. Support of United Way so that they can continue to prop up that educational support to help lessen the need for people to need our services is helpful long-term as well.
Great, thanks. Before we jump into the tour piece, do you have maybe a success story? Right, the last year and a half has been super challenging, as we all know. For many different reasons. Do you have a success story or, you know, something that a family has shared with you thanks to, you know, your efforts at the food bank or the food pantries?
Yeah, we're not a direct service provider, so we're not really in the trenches day to day with the folks that are receiving the benefits from our work. But I will tell you what I found rewarding was to see everybody come together and work together for food security. So the folks at the Community Action Agency through the TFAP program, we've helped them store product from TFAP and the Trade Mitigation Program and helped with distribution. working together. The folks at Kingdom Builders did a marvelous job with the Farm to Families program, doing massive drive-through operations to get food out to folks. We've equipped ourselves to deal with some of those emergency situations. We work with the city of Racine and Racine County to do a couple of those just to make sure we had the right equipment on hand to do that. But I think the best thing is that everybody came together and worked together to solve food security issues in our community. There should have been no one hungry in our community throughout the pandemic, thanks to all of the folks working in that field and the resources that were brought to bear.
Yeah, we got to thank everyone that, you know, like you said, that came together, rallied together, and to help support those that really needed it. So yeah, it's a great feeling, right? So we are going to jump into the actual tour piece of the facility here at the food bank. So if any of you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat box. We will address them at the end. So there's going to be a minute transition here, so bear with us, okay?
Okay, are we back live? Well, welcome to the Food Bank's warehouse. For those of you that have never been in our facility, we're located in one of Massey's old warehouse facilities here on Jacobin Avenue between South Memorial Drive and Taylor Avenue, right behind Workforce Development. We share the facility with Halo, the Racine's homeless shelter, in an 80,000 square foot building, 40,000 each floor. Second floor is really uninhabitable because there's no entrance or egress. So we have about 17,000 square feet on the first floor. Halo occupies the other 23,000 square feet. I think a lot of folks, when they hear the word food bank, if they haven't been here, they kind of visualize the pantry in their church's basement closet that serves their clients. And I think it's helpful and they have an aha moment when they're here and see just the size and scope of what food security in Racine County looks like. So we're going to walk around a little bit and show you the first area here that we're in is our sorting area. And this is where we would take product from one of our bigger food drives, like the letter carriers or the Boy Scouts or the folks at Walden School. And we sort that food that we get in those donations into categories based on USDA's My Plate nutritional information. So when we pack, and those boxes aren't designed to go to an individual, those boxes are designed to go to a pantry. And we do that because we know approximately how many servings of each one of those categories we're able to provide. We base it on their service numbers so that everybody gets the appropriate amount of fruit and vegetables and dairy and grains and so forth to serve their clients. COVID kind of threw a wrench in those things this year because it used to be a 3 to 5 day emergency supply of food, 3 meals a day, appropriate to the household size. Those rules kind of went out the window with COVID because we knew people needed much more than 3 to 5 day supply. So if you'll just walk with me, you'll see we have pallet racking throughout. The more donated food that we get in, the less we have to purchase product. That said, the food donations are never enough to sustain the operation. So when we run out of the donated food, we have a backup of purchased product so that our pantries and shelters and meal programs never know when we're out of a donated product. They're still going to get all of the items they need in each of those nutritional categories. So this whole first area and the sort area is all donated product. With the exception of some purchased product here that we're getting ready to box up holiday meal boxes again. We do that in conjunction with some other agencies here in Racine to hand those out around the holidays. The product that you see, and this is Halo's incubator kitchen back here that's gated off. But the product that you see along this line is some product that we're currently storing for Community Action Agency in the TFAP program. They ran out of space because of the wealth of food that was coming our way. So we've assisted them with storage and distribution when we can. This whole aisle is, and from here over is the rest of the warehouse is all product that we purchase. So there's grains. We try to focus on whole grains. We've got oatmeal, we've got pasta, rice, brown rice, cereal items, whole grain cereals, full aisle of beans. Proteins are very important. And then the next aisle is fruits, canned protein like chicken, tuna fish, those kinds of things. We do have relationships with other folks, so everything that we get donated is not as nutritionally sound as some other things, but we feel that our clients deserve a treat just like we do every once in a while. So you'll see some Pepsi products here as well. We always try and have a cream soup on hand because they can be used and are more versatile than a regular soup. So folks can make casseroles out of them with rice or pasta. And get a better meal out of those items. Thanks to FEMA, we have a great supply of masks and hand sanitizer that we've been distributing for the last several months throughout the community. And in this aisle, we have more vegetables and fruits. And then on this end, some of the non-food items that we need just to run the operation. So boxes and ice melt for the parking lot, and things like that. So I'm not quite sure where we are on time at this point in time, but I think we'll mosey on back towards the office. I just want to point out that the things that we do with a full-time staff equivalent of a little over 2.5 right now. So that 1 million pounds of food goes out of here with the staff of 2.5, but that's really not accurate because we rely really heavily on volunteers. COVID kind of threw a wrench in those plans this year as well because we were unable to bring a lot of them in, but there wasn't a lot of food coming in through the drives for them to sort. But the food sorting activity that you see here is one of our most popular activities. And we are going to be resuming that as soon as we get some food drives up and running where there's some product coming in the door again. So we're really looking forward to seeing folks in person again.
Thank you, Dan. I think that was a nice few-minute run through kind of all the things that you do here at the Racine County Food Bank and all the products that you have. I think this provides me coming in, a better understanding the difference between a food bank and a food pantry. So thank you, Dan. And I think he kind of mentioned, right, the need for volunteers as soon as operations are back up and running at full capacity. So if you are part of an organization or your company is looking for volunteer opportunities, please connect either with Dan or United Way of Racine County, and we are happy to connect you and it's kind of set up that whole volunteer experience. I think it's a great opportunity as well to do some team building, right? So with that, we will open it up to individuals. If you have any questions for Dan or myself, related to the food bank and their operations, or anything like that. So we have one question here. What kind of vehicles does the Racine County Food Bank have to distribute the boxes to local pantries? Who drives the vehicles? Volunteers?
That's a great question. So just staff operate any of the power equipment here. So right now we are blessed with 3 one full-time and 2 part-time drivers / warehouse workers. And then we've got 1 part-time assistant bookkeeper that comes in as well. We have 2 vehicles, a large box truck, a 24-foot box truck that requires a CDL license. And it's got a lift gate. So that's what we use for moving larger loads, pallets and things like that. And then we have a transit van that we use for some of the smaller loads that go daily with maybe some of the perishable products to the pantries and some of the stuff for the weekly deliveries rather than the large monthly deliveries. So both are refrigerated so we can safely transport all kinds of products in the warm weather in the summer. like I said, we're blessed now with 2 CDL drivers, well, 3 counting myself, and we have never been in that scenario before. So I haven't had to play truck driver for a couple of months now, and I'm pretty happy about that.
All right. Thank you. It was from Mary Beth. I think Maureen has her hand up. Feel free to unmute yourself, Maureen.
I just have to tell you, this is fantastic. And to have this video, whoever thought of this at Racine County United Way, kudos to you. This is an absolutely great use of technology. This is a great way to get the word out. And I'm looking forward to getting the video to share with 180 employees in hopes that they give money to United Way to go right. Lots of other great places with Racine County United Way, but to the food bank in particular, and to Dan. This is outstanding. Really, really great job, you guys. Kudos to you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Maureen. Yeah, we're excited to share this experience, and I think most nonprofits tend to run into the issue of getting the word out there, the important work that they do. So yeah, it's a great opportunity to use the technology, and I think people are used to kind of these calls at this point. So we look forward to continuing this out throughout the rest of the year and into next year. So, and hopefully they will be in person. That's our goal, to start doing tours in person with groups of people, maybe getting a bus donated, doing a lunch, things like that. So we have another question here from Julie. How many volunteers on a normal year come through the facility?
Oh boy, when you add our special events in there, the sorting opportunities, the folks that run food drives for us, I mean, we don't formally track some of those, but I'm going to guess it numbers over 1,000 when you factor in all of the folks that put those things together for us. So
that's
pretty
great.
amazing.
Yeah, we need those volunteers, right? So all right, we have a few more minutes left. So does anybody have one more question? Can you share some more information on the foods that are donated that needs refrigeration?
So obviously, under normal circumstances, the product that we typically would deal with is non-perishable. It's more efficient for us to deal with those without having to worry about spoilage and close-coated product like dairy and fresh fruits and vegetables. That said, there has been abundance of dairy thanks to the Hunger Task Force and the Dairy Recovery Program and some of the DATCAP grant funding that Hunger Task Force used to purchase product from local producers here in Wisconsin. So we have really ramped up our fresh and perishable distributions. So those products range from dairy to fresh fruits and vegetables, bakery products. O&H is a regular contributor, Pepperidge Farm as well. So there's been no shortage of bread throughout the pandemic either. Like I said, that's been a more recent focus, the fresh perishable stuff. When the pandemic started, we got a lot of those things from some of the food service providers that weren't able to distribute it to the restaurants that they typically would. So there was a lot of food service packaged stuff that went out in the early days of this as well.
Great. Dan, do you mind sharing a little bit about the holiday efforts? I know you put together some baskets for families right around the holidays.
Yeah, we collect donations, and I source product for that all year to try and get the best pricing on it. This year was a little challenging, both to get the product and to try and get it at a reasonable price. But we build those boxes. We'll build 2,000 of them. We'll be looking for monetary gifts so we can purchase a protein item, whether it's a turkey or a ham or a chicken or something that we can include with those boxes. But it's basically designed to serve a family of 4 a nice Christmas meal. The Community Action Agency handles the registration for those products to make sure we're not duplicating efforts anywhere. Again, the one cookie before anybody gets 2 scenario. So we work very closely with them, and we're thankful that they are able to kind of manage that piece of it for us. And then the agencies that we deal with that are able to provide us a list that serve only folks that fall in that poverty guideline, we just provide them. They just provide us with a list, and we share that with Community Action Agency so we don't, again, duplicate resources.
Great. So we have about 2 minutes, maybe a minute left. do you have any closing remarks, any, call to actions that you want to share with individuals here with us today?
Well, I did share that we do maintain collection barrels in all of the Pick and Save and Piggly Wigglies east of I-94. My guys were supposed to warn them that you folks were going to be filling those up for us this week. So we want to urge you to go out and drop something in those buckets. We don't have any need for volunteers until we have some product for them to sort, and this will be a good start. So we're looking for proteins, nuts and seafood and poultry items canned, fruit packed in juice preferably rather than heavy or light syrup, soups with protein and vegetables, or the cream soups like I mentioned for casseroles, whole grain pasta and cereal, and then vegetables, canned vegetables, low sodium preferred again, but we are happy for anything.
Sure. We will send out a follow-up email with those locations. So please look for that. But I just want to extend my thank you to Dan for participating in this today. I think it was very helpful and enlightening to me, and I'm sure everybody else. So thank you so much for partnering with us on the Impact Tours. Before we head out, I know it's at the half hour. I just want to share next month, we do have another Impact Tour with the Healthcare Network. That will be taking place on Thursday, July 22nd at noon. So please look for that invite that will be coming out shortly within the next week or two. So again, thank you all of you for supporting United Way, the efforts at the Racine County Food Bank, and just being here with us today. So with that, thank you all, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye now.